studio is in Poughkeepsie in upstate New York, and I live in an old firehouse. It has 3 floors. The ground floor is where my studio is. The second floor is my husband's studio, he's a painter, and we live on the 3rd floor. This is the first time that I've had such a large studio. It's approximately 1,800 square feet. It has ceramic tile, so I don't really have to worry about keeping it very clean. I also have a big drain in the middle of my studio where I believe they must have washed the fire engines. My studio dates back to 1906, the building, when it was completed as a firehouse. So I even have a big water trough where the horses used to drink from. So I have 2 garage doors in my studio, which has helped me think about my work on a larger scale, and because before that I always had to worry about how large my door was, so that in case I made something which was even an inch bigger, it would be impossible to get it out. So now I have roll-up garage doors, so it's made the access much easier. My name is Huma Bhabha. I'm an artist. I live and work in Poughkeepsie, New York. Well, when I'm working with cork and I'm carving, and if you come at that time, then the whole floor is littered with cork, and so it's quite messy. But normally I'm not such a messy artist. I clean up a lot because I want the air to be clean in there. If you walked in there, you'd see a wall of styrofoam, which I've collected and people have given to me. These are styrofoam pieces that are discarded from electronics or from various different packaging. That's quite an interesting thing in my studio, because normally one doesn't have a big collection of discarded styrofoam. Because my work involves a lot of found objects, so for many years now I've been picking up pieces, whether I walk around or whenever I walk through the building, he allowed me to pick up whatever trash I wanted to. So I had my own trash, which I use for my sculptures. I mean, I usually work in the evenings, but the evenings are definitely when both of us work, and a good day is usually when it doesn't necessarily have to be that I finish something, but I've made a huge jump, or suddenly realized a certain thing that I was having a bit of an issue with gets resolved. And that could be just sort of sitting around staring at something for several days, and then on that one day, you've sort of decided that what you've been looking at has finally clicked somewhere in your brain, so you know exactly what to do, and it could be a few marks on something, or getting rid of something in a sculpture, or adding something. But usually that's how I work. I work pretty intuitively. I have an idea as to what I'm going to do and what I would like something to look like, but because of the nature of the materials I use, there might be something that is surprising that will happen, and I usually know when something is not quite done, so I'm waiting for that moment. A bad day in the studio, because it's my own studio, so it doesn't really matter. If it's not working out, I just won't spend much time there. But I think, because I'm working on a few things at the same time, so if I don't feel like, being very physical, then I can just go to drawing, and I make drawings on paper. I draw on photographs, which can be small or large. So I have a variety of, things to turn to if one thing is not working. My studio is a pretty calm space. My back door, the big roll-up door, has windows in it, so I can look out onto a little garden that I have, which is full of weeds, because that's how I like it. So the weeds are really overgrown, so it's a nice green. And then I have one of my bronze sculptures in that little patch. I have a lot of pictures up and clippings, and I think it's quite a cozy space. My studio, basically, when I moved into the firehouse, I didn't have to do anything. Didn't have to paint anything because it was all ceramic brick. So I have a mixture of white and yellow light, which I like. It's a little softer. And then there's the natural light. It's a place of thinking and production. I mean, I've already made a lot of work there, and it's a nice space to just sit around in also. I have people visit my studio. It depends, it's usually people from my gallery or curators that are planning shows that want to sort of, get to know you a little bit and discuss their projects. So I don't usually, whatever I'm working on is usually out there. I can't really sort of hide it unless I cover it with a tarp or something. Over the several years that I've been practicing as an artist, many years, I've had many different studios. I think the studio is basically, it could be anywhere, you can work in your bedroom, and so it's all about like being focused on what you're doing, and it's not like having the perfect studio.